Alex Hormozi is known for exiting gym loans for $46.2 million and now owning a portfolio of companies doing over $200 million a year using the same core principles. And as someone who's worked with and audited over 50 telehealth brands, I was naturally curious to see what advice from Alex actually applies to telehealth. The problem is that he's posted thousands of hours of content online, and so to save you time, I did the hard part for you and found the best clips of Alex Hormozi talking about the strategies that actually matter for telehealth brands so that you can apply to your own brand. Let's get straight into clip number 1.
What is the number? Well, the number is actually a ratio between two different numbers, and these numbers have multiple metrics that create those numbers. So it's an incredibly densely packed number, and it describes so many things that happen within the business. And it will tell you how much opportunity you have, which is why it's so exciting for me. The first number of this ratio is LTV, so lifetime value. Now, in common speak, people say lifetime value, but what they really mean is lifetime gross profit. And so let me explain the difference. Most people say lifetime value and they think, okay, well, somebody pays me $1,000 a month for 5 months. That means their lifetime value is $5,000. No, that's not the lifetime value. You have to take out the cost of delivering on whatever service or good you have, and then you have the lifetime gross profit, because that is the profit that you'll be able to reinvest in growing the business or that you'll be able to take out as a business owner. On the other hand, you have hard costs, which is the CAC to get that customer.
So in telehealth, LTV to CAC, or you can even say patient acquisition cost, but this metric is the single most important metric that your business needs to track. So on the other hand, it's the lifetime value, on the other hand is the customer acquisition cost, and the higher you can get your LTV compared to CAC, the better your business is going to be, the more sellable it's going to be, the more profitable it's going to be, etc. And the issue with many telehealth brands is that you're putting all of your effort into the front end to decrease the CAC with your ads, with landing pages, with conversion optimization, but you don't realize, and a lot of brands don't realize, the actual easier, higher impact things you can do are on the LTV side. So taking your average retention from, let's say, 2 months to 3 months or further from that. Think about it, like brands like Hims, top brands in the space, are actually at such a high LTV that they're able to basically pay their CAC back month 8, month 9, month 10, because their LTV and their retention is so high. And when you get to that level, it completely changes your business metrics, because you don't need to solely focus on CAC, decreasing that and minimizing that, because your LTV allows you to also pay a little bit more and outcompete your competitors and outspend your competitors on advertising.
And so if you think about relationship between these two metrics, it's really how much it costs you to make more money. And so you spend money to acquire a customer, or time, which still costs money, to make more money. And this is the fundamental economic unit of the business that propels the business and predicts how big it can get. If I see a small business ad at 100-to-1 LTV to CAC ratio and they have a reliable way of getting customers, then I know that this thing can scale to the absolute moon, because I can get so inefficient. I can be 1/10 as efficient on my advertising and still have 10-to-1 returns. And so people get obsessed in the stock market about 5%, 10% per year returns. Whereas the reason that businesses can create disproportionate wealth in very accelerated time periods is because you can put $1 in and get $100 back tomorrow. There's nothing else that does this. And that's why mastering the LTV to CAC ratio has been something that I've obsessed with my entire life as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, and now as an investor. And so the average ROI for email, depending on the source you look at, is between 35 and 45 return. So that means that for every dollar you spend on software or putting time into your email, you can get like $45 back. Like, imagine if there was a stock investment that you could 50x in a week. Well, that's kind of like what email is, and people still don't do it, myself included. And part of the reason that making money on email is more profitable is because you actually have already spent the time to acquire this contact. And so in a lot of ways, email is just follow-up.
So that's the most important part, why email, why SMS, specifically email marketing, is so powerful and so high ROI activity to do. Because think about it, you already acquired the customer, you put all that money into acquiring them with advertising, and now they're in your system. Sending more emails to them doesn't basically cost you anything, and that can increase your conversion rates meaningfully, increase your CAC meaningfully, increase your LTV meaningfully. So that's basically, you're just wasting money, throwing money down the drain if you're not utilizing email.
And so you spent the cost to acquire the lead, now you're just reminding them that you exist. And so basically the only real cost is just whatever software you use and whoever or whomever you may have to pay in order to write the emails. That's pretty much it. And so one email writer can send an email to 10 million people, and that is a tremendous amount of leverage that you get in your business that a lot of people ignore. On top of that, email is one of the most consumed media platforms, and it hasn't died down. Onboarding is the first real touch point with the customer, and customers make their first impression of your business from the 24 to 48 hours post-purchase.
And this applies really, really well to telehealth as well. So when your customer buys from you, within the first 24 to 48 hours, that window there is going to make or break whether they're going to stay a customer, whether they're going to churn, and whether they're going to have a good experience with you or not. Within this first window, when they buy from you, they're looking for reassurance, they're looking for expectation setting, they want to know whether you're trustworthy, where is their treatment coming from, what are the next steps and everything. And if you have a generic confirmation email, or whereas you don't even have that, or you don't have any SMS communication coming to them, you're basically just going quiet in the first 1-2 days. In that case, most likely you're going to lose those customers, they're going to churn, and you're going to get a really bad negative word of mouth and review from those customers as well. So you need to be able to optimize the first window post-purchase to make sure that your customers are going to stay with you. If you do that, the whole path is clear from that point on. Obviously, you need to continue the retention flows, the retention milestone mapping and everything after that. But the first touch points within 1-2 days are the most crucial ones.
Everything that happens until then frames the entire rest of their experience with you. And so nailing that next 24 or 48 hours will increase how many people take your upsells, how long they stay. So literally, like, adding onboarding can add 2-3 months to your LTV if you have any kind of recurring service.
How to actually keep people
Well,
inside.
it converts better, right? But it will also have higher churn.
It's a trade. The more you promise, the lower the bar for saying yes, but also they have less reason to say yes, and so they have more reason to say no, which means they'll leave. It's a trade. Like, the perfect world is one where you say, I will promise you absolutely nothing. And you should buy it only if you're this very rare type of person, and it may or may not suck. And if someone buys at that point, the likelihood that they churn is significantly lower than, like, I'm going to save your life in 30 days.
So that's the thing. Telehealth, it's always a balance of expectation setting versus claims and promises that you're doing with your market. So you can say lose this many pounds in the first month. You can exaggerate your claims. You can do these crazy claims. But if the reality is not that, you're shooting yourself in the foot, because telehealth is not a CAC business. Like, you're not going to be winning with just having a low CAC if the retention is low as well. So you need a high retention, and in order to have a high retention, you need to set the expectations clearly. Because if you don't set the expectations clearly, if you set false claims, exaggerated claims and promises, people are going to come in and then they're not going to get those results in the first 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Even if the results would actually be totally normal, your claims have been so much higher that they think this is normal and they're not getting it. And then you're going to lose them, you're going to get bad word of mouth, and then you're going to just have this flywheel of negative things happening to you, people churning, not more people coming in anymore, and so on.
They're running YouTube ads, they're getting 10 to 1. These guys are spending $1,000 a month to make $10,000 back, even though they're doing $1 million-ish a month on their main business. So that means 1% of their revenue comes from their YouTube ads. And the question is, how do we scale? The main problem is compliance. And so they're in health space. And so a lot of the issues.
So in telehealth space, compliance is one of the biggest things you need to understand when it comes to advertising and marketing. You cannot just make crazy claims. There's a lot of compliance things. You can get your accounts banned. I've had a lot of clients who have struggled with this issue overnight. They've had some claim there. Sometimes it's like a false ban even. But you don't want to have these compliance issues, because they can literally ban your Meta accounts overnight. You're going to lose all of your traffic sources. And I've seen a lot of brands struggle with this. So in telehealth, this is extremely important, extremely relevant, and something you need to think about when you're launching ads in the health space.
Number one is there are firms that specialize in compliance audits. And so I go, like, if we have an issue, like one of our companies, it happens all the time, right? Ads get shut down because there's all these different automated things, even if you're doing nothing wrong. So you go to these firms and usually just ask them what their approval rating is post-compliance. Usually it's 90% plus for the good ones. It doesn't cost that much. It's like $5 or $6 grand. And they'll go through, they'll audit all the sites, they'll audit all the videos and collateral that you use, so that then you can resubmit. And they usually have some sort of internal Google kind of back door where they say, hey, we will make sure these people are compliant. They have a relationship with Google, and they can make sure that you get pushed through. So usually, as long as you're not doing anything completely racy, which I'm guessing you're not, you should be fine. increase the perceived likelihood of achievement, right? What else can we do? And I actually saw this. Levi's did this for selling a jean jacket, which is why I'm giving the example, because it was so masterful on how they did it. What they did is that I saw this video. It was maybe 90 seconds, and it had the jean jacket, and it had 3 different ways you can wear it. And they showed, here's how you pair it with dark stuff, here's how you pair it with light stuff, here's how you pair it with the same looking jean, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wow, I did not know how jean jackets work, but now I do. And now I know how to wear it. So my perceived likelihood of achieving the dream outcome of looking cool has just gone up simply by them making a video that demonstrated it, right?
So this is the same in telehealth. You need to see people in your position who are relatable to you. So people who are either starting the journey at the same point as you or who already reached the goal. You need to see the process working, and you need relatable people to show them that it has worked for them. So this is why testimonials, customer journeys, customer stories from people like you are so powerful as a marketing material for telehealth brands. If you have somebody, let's say Kelsey, who has lost X pounds within 3 months, and you are somebody who is trying to achieve the same exact thing, you are starting from the same weight, you have the same goal weight, you can see somebody else did it, you can hear them speak about the journey, the experience with this brand. That's what gets you over the line of trusting that brand and actually getting started with them.
These variables apply to services and e-commerce just the same. It's just the way that we show someone how to experience the dream outcome they desire differ. All right. Let's say I'm teaching a skill. I'm going to show somebody who has the skill, showing them demonstrating the skill and the results of having that skill, right? That would be increasing the perceived likelihood. But if it's a physical product, then we have to think, what's the outcome they want? And then how do we increase the likelihood that they see that? An easy way is to demonstrate it, right? And to literally demonstrate, this is probably what you're thinking and here's how it works. That's why unboxing videos and things like that work, because it decreases the risk associated with making the purchase, because they're like, oh, that's what's going to happen. It decreases the other side of me swiping my card. What happens after that, right? And as much as we can demystify what happens after, they say, oh, I now can create expectations, and then this product will meet the expectations and I will be happy. Great. Now, the next one is time delay. A weight loss service or anything that you'd help somebody or a remote service, or anything that's like an online service, these metrics will probably be much more correlated to what you're at. And so the platform average across school is 80% monthly retention. So said differently, it's 20% churn. So 80% stay, 20% leave. That's the platform average. Now the best groups have less than 10% churn, aka 90% retention month over month. The not good groups have less than 70% retention, aka 30% or higher. And so tactically, if less than 7 out of 10 people want to stay on a monthly basis, you probably need to work on your retention more than anything else. It'll be the highest ROI lever. Now, to put this in context, if you take your churn from 20% to 10%, or said differently, you take your retention from 80 to 90%, you didn't just get a 10 or 12% boost, you got a double in the LTV per customer, meaning customers stay twice as long when you make that change. And so one of the big things.
So this is the same exact thing in telehealth. It's a retention-based business model. You need people to stay for multiple months to be able to make your business profitable and make it successful. So just taking, let's say, your monthly retention from 2 months to 3 months, or from 3 months to 4 months, or from 4 months to 5 months, etc., is going to have a huge impact on your LTV. It's going to totally transform your LTV to CAC and your business profitability and your ability to spend on ads, etc., etc. So what should you do? You can literally just think, what is the highest impact activity, which is going to be pretty much tackling, let's say, going into your churn dashboard, seeing what is the biggest churn point right now, and then just putting all of your effort into taking that churn point from point A to point B. So for example, from month 3 to month 4. And when you do that, that's going to totally transform your business. And then you just keep doing that over and over again with these churn points that you are able to identify.
The smaller the number, the bigger the change by percentages when you make these small tweaks. And to be clear, this is all monthly in comparison to others, not in comparison to have like a sellable business or anything like that. I remember this. I'll give you 2 separate stories that'll drive this home. So a friend of mine has a recurring membership that he sells. And he sells it at, I think he was selling at $300 a month, and he couldn't get people to stick past 3 months. And so he tried all these different gimmicks and things, and he just couldn't crack 3 months of LTV. Now, that could have been a pricing issue, whatever. So this is what he did. He stopped selling it at $300 a month, month to month, and started selling as a $10,000 program with 36 months of interest-free financing. And so when people bought, they were buying a $10,000 price point, but they got an amazing payment plan. And so he didn't change anything about what he sold, but that took his average customer from 3 months to 8 months.
So think about it. You sell the exact same thing. You only change the payment option from month-over-month payment plan to multi-month plan, and you're literally taking a retention of 3 months to 8 months. So you're more than doubling it, and that's gonna totally transform your whole business, your profitability, your growth, and everything. So that's gonna totally make your business different by just this one simple change without actually changing anything on the fulfillment side. And that's the exact same thing you can do with telehealth. Because think about it like a GLP-1 program. It will require multiple months to show potential, proper, big results. And so why would you be selling it as just like 1 month payment plan? They're not even going to be able to see the whole results that they would need. So you want adherence, you want commitment, and also at the same time, if you can increase your retention and you can increase your business profitability, your LTV with that, it's going to be a win-win for both of the sides. So you're going to get better results for your customers, you're going to get more word of mouth, and you're also going to transform your own profitability while doing so. So that's why as a telehealth brand, you should think about how can you push people to multi-month plans, I'd say 3-month plans, 6-month plans, even 12-month plans, or build these kind of service/product combined protocols where people need to stay for longer. So they are buying this multi-month plan straight from the get-go, because this will increase their results, it will increase their commitment and their adherence, and it will also grow your business.
So we're talking about a $900 to 3 times 300 to 8 times 300, 2,400. That kind of change in a business, life-changing in terms of how much money you can make. The second one was I had a different friend who had a continuity program. He was an agency. And what he did was he realized he had churn in his business. And so he said, people are way less likely to churn out of a payment plan, same as the other one, than they are out of a monthly recurring revenue stream. And so what you call it to the customer can affect the likelihood that they pay. But as far as the business is concerned, you just want payments that are regular. And all you do to take a program and take it from a payment plan to recurring in terms of how it actually looks and feels is you just put an automatic recurring at the end of the program. And so when someone buys this big thing and you make a payment plan and then it recurs into the exact same price as the payment plan, you just move the pieces around, but the likelihood they stick is way higher. And so that's exactly what we did as the last step in the diagnostic sales process. And I wanted to highlight this point for you because I've done it in every business.
So that was Alex Hormozi's advice and how it applies in telehealth. And hey, if you're running a telehealth brand and want to see where your lifecycle marketing is leaking revenue, then click the first link in the description to book your free lifecycle marketing audit. We'll break down what's working, what's missing, and the highest impact fixes you can do to increase patient LTV and decrease CAC. See you there.